Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Umar Khan's space. Tonight's session, albeit a brief one, last minute, but it is very important in context of everything that the entire world has been experiencing. And unless you have been living under a rock, this should not be something that should surprise you. So, without any further ado, I'm going to jump into what we're talking about tonight. I've got two leaders with me from Texas, and the introduction, I'm going to let them take care of that. Shamila Malik and Raheela Shaikh. They are with AMHP, American Muslim Health Professionals. Assalamu alaikum, Shamila, and Assalamu alaikum, Raheela. How are you guys?
Walaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah, we're good, and we are very, very grateful for you for hosting us tonight. It's going to help us get out our organization, and even more importantly, so the event we're hosting in just a few days, inshallah.
Yes,
Inshallah,
we are
absolutely.
excited. American Muslim Healthcare Professionals does a range of things nationally, and we are really trying hard to make our Texas chapter one of the best chapters ever. And so your help with this has been amazing.
Absolutely. So I'm glad, you mentioned once again the name. Tell us something briefly about what the organization has been doing, what it is about. Yes, it does say health professionals, but for folks who haven't heard about the organization, it would certainly help them to understand the mission of the organization, historical context, and what is it that we're doing as we move forward.
So, American Muslim Health Professionals was started 20 years ago in Chicago by Urshia Wajid. She herself is a public health master's and has worked in the public health realm. And she realized there was not an overarching organization that represented all spectrums of Muslims in healthcare. So the doctors have their organizations, the nurses have their organizations, but the people who are in public health, the people who are in IT associated, the startups, the phlebotomists, the pharmacists, the social workers, the dietitians, anyone improving to work, anyone working to improve health in a realm other than medicine, like a doctor, wasn't represented. And so that's where it started. The Texas chapter started about 6 years ago, and alhamdulillah, I've been on board for about 5, and Raheela, you've been on board for 4.
About three and a half, 4, yes.
3.5, 4. So we offer a lot. The 4 primary things that AMHP focuses on is advocacy, state level, national level, health equity, networking, of course, and education. So these are the things that people working to make a difference in the lives of the communities we live in. So particularly here in Texas, every community has their own. We've had AI and healthcare. Raheela has 2 amazing programs that she offers. One is on drugs and hidden sight, and the other one is cyberbullying. And rather than going into details, I'll let Raheela talk about her show.
Okay, absolutely. I joined AMHP at a time where I was a high school principal, and I was looking to really support the Muslim community by discussing things like drug abuse in high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools, and also talking about cyberbullying and the laws that pertain to them in Texas. A lot of my parents that I worked with in public school as a principal did not understand the laws, did not know what was happening. They would be caught unawares when their children were caught with drugs, or they were unaware when their children were doing inappropriate behavior because they didn't know how to handle it and they didn't know what to expect. And so I started going to masajids to do these presentations when the former president, Zain, he reached out to me and he said that, we're looking for a professional development director. Would you be interested? You're in education. I was like, I don't have anything to do with healthcare, but these are the things that I do. And he really wanted to run with it. And so I've been doing those presentations for about 3 years now. We've been reaching out to masjids across Texas. Alhamdulillah, got really good feedback from them. We've been going to now Muslim schools as well.
Fantastic. And how has the response been for how it was in the beginning when both of you joined? and some of the challenges before we come to the event. Just wanted you to take a few minutes identifying or just highlighting the challenges you guys have seen and the evolution for the organization and your roles within the organization, because I do want to point out when we're talking about this, you both are women in leadership positions. And historically, these positions were held by males, as you mentioned. So the challenge related to that aspect with leadership position of such an organization, yes, voluntary, yes, something that you are passionate about, still it does come with challenges by virtue of gender, even in today's world. So I just want to have you take some time on that.
Well, for my side, I will tell you that I'm currently still facing those challenges because what I do has been difficult to break through the masjids, right? The imams and like the shura, they're very particular
Board.
about who they speak to. They are very male oriented, and it's been very difficult for me to give these free programs to their parents. And oftentimes it's kind of like pushed to a side that sure, yes, we'll do it. And then I'll keep reaching out to them and I'll be completely ignored. But when I do actually get a chance to do it, I get really great feedback that this was great. The parents really needed it. I'm so happy you were able to come and do this. But getting through those doors have been incredibly difficult for me. I have to
Yeah,
often
we
begin, especially I had to go through Zayn to make that connection, who was the president before Shamila, because they wouldn't speak to me.
Yeah, I was about to say that. We've had to more times than not rely on a man to get us through because they just don't react to the women the same way. So, I mean, inshallah, that will change. And Raheela and I are very driven women. And I think, inshallah, our duo is going to do well, and AMHP will become more known. I will say that is the biggest challenge that I experienced in coming in, because I am a dietitian by profession. So I getting the awareness of AMHP as an organization in the state of Texas, because Texas is unlike the rest of the country in that there is every type of organization that you would seek already exists in one form or another. And so to bring AMHP in to kind of make it relevant, like why do people even want to know who we are, has been a struggle. But I will say we're making progress. Other groups are recognizing our importance and where we fit into the position. And the schools, the educators are realizing what we have to offer is very beneficial for their communities. So even if it is at snail pace, alhamdulillah, it's getting better.
And the traction has improved because we do have a lot of driven females out there in other roles as well. So currently, I'm doing a program. The programs that I'm doing right now are being held at Mass, Dallas. And it was Sister Amal who reached out to me and said, we really need this. This is for our education department. Would you be willing to do this? I did one of my programs for them. I'm doing another one after Eid. But through that program, BHA, Brighter Horizons Academy, reached out to us, and it was the female counselor saying that we have this problem on our campus. Can you please talk to us about this? So inshallah, we are getting out there. People are hearing what we're saying. They are noticing that this is a benefit to our community. We are doing this for free. We're doing this it's a nonprofit, and we just want to make sure that all our children, all our teens, all our families, they're healthy, they're safe, and they're supported.
Absolutely, yes. And I'm glad what I'm hearing is the trickle effect, the referral effect by virtue of working with one organization, and then someone watches you guys or hears about you guys or what you guys are doing, and then they want to work with you or they want to have you present something. So absolutely, it does take time. And as my father used to say, anything good takes time to get substantiated over course. All right, so coming to this event that we're having this coming Thursday, our Gaza heroes, fireside chat with our Gaza heroes. tell us something about the event. Is this the first instance of this happening? I'll be very honest, this is the first time I've seen this, so I am going to admit my ignorance that I do not know if this is the first time. So let's start with that. Is this the first instance? How did the idea come about? And we'll go from there.
We were collaborating with a different professional organization for a Ramadan iftar. And our vision of what that iftar was going to be and that organization's vision of what that iftar was going to be were kind of not coinciding, even though we're still collaborating with them and we're supporting them. Like, we're going to encourage our people to go there as well. We both decided, it would be better to do it under our platform. Then we reached out to one of the doctors who has been in Gaza to see if they could help us facilitate conversation with that group, to see would they prefer Ramadan, would they prefer after Ramadan, what was their choice as far as having their event. And honestly, this date and the Thursday night and the professional dinner was their request. We were planning for after Eid. And so we went ahead, we kind of just jumped into it full force and got the venue and started marketing it. It is not, I'm going to put this out there bold and strong. It is not a fundraiser. We are not going to be asking the participants to help us raise funds for our organization. It started off as let's do the recognition, and then it became people don't know AMHP very well. How are we going to attract them? That's when we decided to do a low-cost ticket that included a buffet dinner. Then it was, okay, how are we going to cover our expenses? Then it was, let's try to collaborate with as many businesses, organizations, and individuals who would like to be sponsors of the evening in recognizing our local community members who went above and beyond, and that will help offset the expenses. So it's affordable for them. The participants, it's affordable sponsorships for those who are interested. They get good marketing out of it. And inshallah, they are going to be the people who actually are carrying the event because they're covering the costs. And when that comes together as a community project, how beautiful. That's what we wanted. As far as has this happened before? So I know some individual masjids recognize their members who went to Gaza. I know that there was an presentation at ISNA. But as far as community doing it for community, I also am not aware. Raheela, are you aware?
No, and actually the idea came about was that yes, they had something done for them at ISNA, and they did have like, some massages. They went out and, presented them with, accolades and being very grateful that they did this and everything. But we wanted to do it at a step further. We wanted to not only recognize them and celebrate them, we wanted them to have a platform where they can tell us how things went. And that's where the fireside chat came about, because the community would love to know. They have the opportunity now to ask these wonderful doctors and healthcare professionals any questions they had, any concerns they still have about Gaza, anything that they want to know on how they can contribute or how to be a part of the movement. So this will give them a chance to not only really meet the healthcare professionals, reward them for the work they've done, but also get a chance to get to know them and what work that happened over there.
So another question is, how important is it that, let's say, if I'm coming to the event and I have a chance to speak with these individuals who actually been on the ground and they've actually worked there, helped people, how does that help in big picture context for me to understand the difference between what the mainstream media has been portraying and what we want to understand from someone who has been there on the ground, the difference between reality and maybe perception, or maybe the mainstream push perception? How critical is that at this point in time?
It's very critical. As we all know, our media in this country, unless you're following alternative news sources, is very censored. We don't really hear what's actually going on, and these people have seen it. They've worked in it. They've been there. This last trip that this group took, they were actually held up by the Israeli government and not allowed to come back on the in a timely manner. And the stress that that put on their families, I'm sure the fear that it instilled in them, like, I would love to hear their stories, because if nothing else, we're also validating their emotions. And to have that validation is very warming from your own community, you know? So that's my take. Raheela, what do you want to say?
Feel
Talking a lot.
also that we are almost becoming desensitized by the images and the footages that are coming from Gaza. And I think that actually talking to people who have been there, have seen it, both the good and the bad, would be able to give us a better picture so that it's not about, oh my God, I'm bombarded by these images. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't know what's happening. Or let's keep on doing these protests, which is wonderful. But at the same time, what are you protesting for? That knowledge has not been given to us in a complete way. And so actually speaking to these American doctors who went over there, who have seen it firsthand, both the good and the bad. And when I mean the good, I mean the heartwarming stories that they came across of the Palestinian people that they've helped, because there are a lot of those stories. And unfortunately, we don't get to hear a lot of those stories because of the pain and suffering that we're constantly seeing. So having a balance of both will give us a better idea of what we're protesting for, what we're standing up for, and what we really need to work towards in the future for.
So another question, pardon my ignorance again. These are individuals who are professionals who have their professional lives here, and that's what I understand. And they went to Gaza to help folks there, to help take care of people, system, whatever was on ground. It's not like they were not doing anything here. They have everything set up there, their professional lives, their families, and they chose to take time out of all that to go and help. That's what I understand. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep. That's
100%. What I heard at one of the discussions with one of the members who went is, prior to making the commitment to go, they sat down their entire family, including the children, and requested permission because they didn't know if they would return. So, I mean, that's big. That's really big. I want to hear them talk. I want to hear about it all.
And for it's stuff that gives goosebumps, that you have your family seated and you're talking about this, that, hey, I'm about to do this. I would like to have your permission. I would absolutely love to go, but this is something I may not return from. And so what do you guys think? And for anyone to be able to experience that, and then for that emotion to be reciprocated by the family in affirmation that, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Go. And may Allah be with you. And let's do this. So yeah, absolutely. So how has the community responded so far to everything that you have done in terms of presenting it to the community in terms of response or tickets and everything?
It's getting better. We're definitely not at full capacity. But we would love to be at full capacity. I would love to have an overflowing hall for the, the volunteers. Inshallah, we still have 3 days. The tickets will continue to be live. And I'm hoping anyone who sees this and any of the clips that we put out afterwards is as driven to want to be a part of this event as we are.
Right. And I think that the main thing that we want everyone to know is that we understand fundraiser burnout. And with Ramadan coming and Eid coming and being participants of the masjids and all of the Ramadan fundraisers that happen, burnout is real here in Dallas. This is not a fundraiser. This is a $20 dinner that you just come, enjoy, meet your peers, meet the healthcare professionals, listen to them talk, see them get an award from us, enjoy the feeling that these are people that were on the ground and have helped in every capacity known to man, and then came back safely to us. And so if they can just come and celebrate that, that would be great. It's a dinner. That's all it is.
Would you also like to share, even though we have a flyer and I will make that part of the recording also, but would you like to share when it's happening where it's happening. And you already mentioned the ticket price, $20. But if you would just go through that once again for whoever's watching right now, that would be amazing.
Thursday, February 27th, 6:30 p.m. And we will be serving dinner earlier rather than later because it's a work night at the Crystal Banquet in Plano.
All right, Crystal Banquet it is. Anyone who knows Dallas, Pakistani community, Muslim community, or Plano knows where Crystal Banquet is. It is at the intersection of Spring Creek and Independence. You cannot miss it. Right opposite Plano Masjid, IAAC. And what time does the event start?
6:30.
6:30. So there we have it, 6:30 at Crystal Banquet in Plano. It is our Gaza Heroes. Anything you would like to add on top of whatever we've discussed? Anything that you just want to share with anyone who's watching or will watch?
Well, we just want everyone in Dallas to know that now that the president and vice president is local in Dallas, we plan to be doing a lot more local events here for you guys and our community. And I really want Shamila to talk about an upcoming event that's happening in October because it's very important to my heart. I recently had a friend's grandmother pass away, and there was this battle about hospice and healthcare and Islam. And so Shamila is putting together an amazing event for that.
Yeah, so we will roll right into that. Inshallah, we'll announce it at the dinner itself also. But we have a palliative nephrologist, which is a nephrologist who deals with end of life care. And we have an imam coming, and we will be talking about the intersection of practicing medicine in a capitalist society that tries to defeat death while having a faith that believes in a limited life and afterlife, and where that crossroads comes together. So it will be an amazing evening. We're going to have a hospice company there, Muslim owned. We're going to have a home health company there, Muslim owned. We plan on having a funeral service there, Muslim owned, so that we can deal with the really real concept of making decisions at a time that's very stressful. And it's also, it's stressful for the families, but as the healthcare worker, it's really stressful for them as well.
Amazing. Yes, I definitely look forward to that. So many things that we want to not just do because those are right, but as I grow into parenthood, we want to do because we want to set that precedent for our next generation to explore, discover, look into, learn, and then start doing it. So anything, Raheela, you'd like to add?
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the opportunity of sharing our venture with you guys and our community service.
Absolutely. So what I would like to say about this is I just came across this because of a flyer I saw on Facebook. And yes, I reached out to Shamila and I was like, okay, inquired about it. Why I would want folks to attend is we live at this point in time, we live in this world where we want to be proud Muslims, we want to be proud Americans, and we want to stand up and be confident in our ability, in our capabilities as being proud, peaceful American Muslims who are not shy to share where we stand on different issues and different values. And if that means we share and the stage for people who have actually been on the ground helping those in distress, our Muslim brothers and sisters, at a time where they need that recognition, not for themselves, but for inspiration for everyone else who might be watching around the world or in your neighborhood or in your family. And maybe that inspiration may trigger something of a snowball effect in that individual's life. That is why I believe it is so important for us to do. And then going back to my earlier comment, for our children, so that when they see that we are taking that time out to impact a bigger society, bigger ummah, a bigger part of what we are, it is very important for them to become confident, peace-loving American Muslims. So with that, thank you very much, Shamila, President, AMHP, and thank you very much, Raheela, Vice President for Texas chapter. It was a pleasure speaking with you guys. Hopefully we'll see you on Thursday, Crystal Banquet Hall, Plano, 6:30 p.m. $20 is one person's ticket. It is not a fundraiser. It is an opportunity to recognize and celebrate those who left their lives here to contribute on the ground, and then they've made their way back, alhamdulillah, safely. So please, if you have time, if you can make time, make your way to Crystal Banquet Hall this Thursday. Thank you very much, ladies, and have a very good night.
Thank you. You too. Thank you, man.